Hey friends, I hope you're well. I'm David Lamott, and I'm halfway done making a new album. It's actually my 13th record, and we're having a ball in the studio creating this stuff together. I'm really excited about this particular batch of songs, and it's such a joy to bring them to life in the recording studio. So Mickey Hart, who's the drummer for the Grateful Dead, also has a doctorate in ethnomusicology. I heard him say in an interview years ago that there's a difference between a live recording and a studio recording. And the best way to explain it to people who aren't professional musicians is to say that a live recording is kind of like a photograph. You just capture what's happening, and you might be able to dodge the photo a little bit. You can do some post-processing, but basically you're working with what happened right there. A studio album is like a painting. You have infinite options for colors and textures and how literal you're going to be and how abstract you're going to be and all the things. You could do anything you want. Infinite aural textures and colors. And that's really a joy. But in terms of the technical part of how you do this, most folks don't understand that. If you're not a professional musician, you probably haven't spent a lot of time in recording studios. So I asked my friends on Facebook if they were interested in just having a little bit of an introduction to that. So this is not for you musician types and studio geeks. This is not a subtle conversation about microphone choice and placement and subtleties of acoustic treatment in a room and all those things. This is just 101. We're getting started here. How do you basically do this? And it's not exactly as people might imagine a lot of the time. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the simplest song on the record. I expect there to be 11 songs on the album. And I'm taking the very simplest one. It's just guitar and vocal at this point. We're still trying to decide whether we're going to add a little bit of banjo. And I want to show you how we recorded it. We did this in about half a day, one day last week. And I want to show you exactly what we did and what we didn't do. It's not, again, exactly as you might imagine. So I want to be clear that the reason I record and write songs is because I think songs are often the shortest distance between two hearts. And I think the work of knowing each other, of sharing our common experience and remembering our own humanity and each other's humanity is some of the most important work we're given to do on the planet. So that's what songs are for. It's really important, in my view, that sharing of art with each other. And so we work really hard to get it right. And this is just a little bit of an introduction to that. The way I think about making an album is this. The process of creating a recording is a process of thousands of tiny decisions. And I scribbled down some of the ones that you have to make. Well, first, which songs are you going to use? I'm not even going to get into the writing of the songs, but after you've got a bunch of songs, which ones are you going to put on the record? Then what instrumentation are you going to have? Does this song want to be big with lots of stuff on it, a horn section and percussion and drums and all of it? Or does it want to be a very small and intimate song? The artists that are going to play those instruments, once you decide what instruments are going to be on it, the parts that those artists are going to play on the instruments, what melodies, what chords, what notes in particular, and every note you play in the song, you can take a close look at it and say, is that the right note? Should it be longer? Should it be shorter? How do you do the attack and the decay on that note? Then there's, of course, the lyrics. And once you get into poetry, again, there are infinite decisions to be made. What key are we going to do it in? And then when you're recording it, was that the right take? Did we get it? Or do we need to do it again? Do we need more emotion in it? Does it need to be happier or sadder or more present? We're going to talk in the little video about how close you are to the microphone. An inch can make a huge difference in the vocal tone on the record. So I'm going to introduce you to all that and to my friend Chris Rosser, who is the co-producer on this album along with me and also the engineer. So he makes things happen. So the producers are making aesthetic decisions, artistic decisions, and the engineer is technically making all of that a reality, taking those ideas and creating them so you can hear them with your ears and not just your imagination. Chris Rosser is one of the most brilliant musicians I've ever met in my life, and it's such an honor to work with him. This is my 13th album, and I think I've made about half those records with Chris because I just love working with him. Hi, email. We'll ignore you for the moment. So Yes, it's a gorgeous studio with brilliant, expensive microphones and such, but a really nice hammer doesn't make you a carpenter. The reason this little studio churns out gorgeous albums like it does is because Chris Rosser is just a brilliant artist, and that's true as a musician and as an engineer. 13 albums in with Chris, I'm feeling different about this particular record than I ever have before. And I think something about this change has to do with my own trusting of my own sense of things. I've always been kind of awed by Chris's talent and knowledge of music, and I've sometimes second guessed my own perspective on things. It's really not happening on this iteration of recording together. We're really kicking ideas back and forth, making the decisions together, and finding the way forward, and it feels really, really good. I'm really enjoying the process. So here's a little glimpse. Last week in the studio, while we were recording, these are real takes, they're not staged for the camera, and the camera was my phone. I just had the phone on a little tripod, and I clicked it on from time to time and turned to talk to you about what it was that we were doing, and then we did it. So let me introduce you to that, and then at the end we'll play you the actual recording of the song, and you can check it out and see what you think. Thanks so much for being interested. See y'all. Hey y'all, so we're recording today. And I said earlier that making an album is really a process of making thousands of small decisions and a few larger ones. It's really what it is. So right now we're going to record a song called the Quiet Hour. It's called Quiet Hour. And I'm going to have to get in the right tuning and stuff. But Chris is setting up mics. We've got these two microphones right here that are catching bass and treble on the guitar, and I'll slide in close to those. Sorry for all that bouncy camera. So generally we're going to put the right mic toward right at the bottom of the guitar, right about here. I've got this one today about 6 or 7 inches out, and then this one is going to be, if I'm right in my guesses, I'm thinking that this one's going to be about here, pointing at about the 17th fret, between the 12th fret octave and the sound hole. You don't point it right at the sound hole, you get a very woofy kind of sound there. So, but you don't put it way up here on the frets, because then you just hear the clicks of the strings and you wouldn't really get much tone. So Chris has learned a lot about this over the years, and knows how to position these mics to get the best guitar sound. And we record the guitar and the vocals separately on most of the songs for this record. But this way, when we record them separately, we have a lot more control, and we can use if we record the guitar 3 or 4 times, we can get the best one and use that. And then maybe if we record the vocal 3 or 4 times as well, we can pick the best one there and combine them. So that's why we do it that way. So I'm about to record this guitar part, and while I'm recording the guitar part, I'm hearing something that you're not hearing. In my headphones, I've got a drum track playing that's generated by the computer, so the tempo is perfect. So I can be as locked to that tempo as possible. So it sounds like this. Play a little bit of this. So that's what I'm hearing while I'm recording, although I'm also hearing my guitar, of course. So we're going to give it a try. Here it comes. Okay, so we got a guitar part, and now we're going to track a vocal. and I'm going to take my mask off. Chris is way over there, and the vocal will definitely sound better without the mask. And I'm going to sing this real close. I'm going to sing it way up here. So if I sing back here, I can sing louder, and that'll give us one kind of vocal tone. But if I get real close, it gives us an intimacy that I kind of like for a song like this one. So, where the rhododendron leaves are curled, the leaves are curled like fine cigars. So that's one kind of way to sing it. But for frozen tears falling from the distant stars. And that's a really different tone, right? There's an intimacy to it. So I like the close mic for a song like this one. We're going to give it a shot. I'm going to drop this mic just a bit, Chris.
Okay.
Check, check, check. Hey, does that feel all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like to take one earphone off so I can kind of hear my voice in the room as well as in the recording. And now I'm going to see if I can summon the feeling I had when I was writing this song, which was a pretty lonely, wintry place to be. So see if I can get back to the reality of that. All right, man, let's give it a shot. Well, the rhododendron leaves are curled. I need a good bit more vocal in my own.
You singing the volume the whole song?
About that, I think.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm just gonna crank up the level.
Yeah, it's real understated. Thank you.
See if that balance seems better.
Mm-hmm. Give me more cans altogether,
Uh-huh.
just overall. Check, check, check. Hey, great. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's clear, but for frozen tears falling from the distant stars.
Beautiful.
Thanks. Does it work like that for the vocal? Is it not too
I like
affected?
it.
Is it?
I like it, yeah.
I want it to have the intimacy of a sitting, staring at a fire, singing quietly in the middle of the night. You know,
Uh-huh.
I want it to feel like that.
I mean, we could try the banjo thing. It feels nice just like this. It's so short, just...
Yeah, it's just a little bitty thing.
Yeah.
It's not like you need to build an arc for
Right,
it.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to do another pass of that?
Sure.
Or, I mean,
Yeah.
guitar part's actually feeling pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
I don't
pretty
know
good.
that you need to do it again necessarily.
Okay.
We can listen. I wasn't
Yeah.
so focused on it.
We'll give
but
it a super
seems
close
solid,
listen.
yeah.
But yeah, nothing jumped out when I was singing, which is good. Nothing distracted me from singing. I was thinking about the singing, not the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good sign. Hey, one take. That's what I'm talking about.
One take Lamont.
Yeah, that's what they call me in my dreams. So y'all, yeah, we just took one pass at the vocal and got a complete one, and I backed up and did part of it over again because we messed something up. And now I am gonna just do the whole thing again. And the magic of digital studio is that you've got these 2 tracks of vocal that you recorded, or maybe 3 or 4. And if you get to a little phrase that feels a little funky, you can actually grab that phrase from the other track. So you pick the one that sounds best overall, and then you take pieces of the other one to fit it together. And that may all sound very contrived and kind of Frankenstein-y to piece it together like that. But of course, the goal is to just make it as beautiful and perfect as possible. You dress it up one night, kind of like prom, send it out in the world and make it beautiful. As Ellis Paul said many years ago, you dress it up for the prom, for the album. And it may never sound exactly like that again, but it's lovely that one time. So that's the work of piecing it all together. and how we get a song. This is the simplest song in the world, one guitar and one vocal. Normally we do this with lots of percussion and cello and whatever on other songs on the record, but that's what's going on. So it's funny, I just realized I'm talking into this mic the whole time as though that matters. I'm really talking to my phone. The mic's not plugged into the phone. Anyway. They burn away my memory, how these frozen tears fill in my eyes. Yeah.
Good with all that. I guess another part on 5 felt really good. Makes me the last take. Maybe we should check the whole bit there. They burn away my memory, how those frozen tears fill in my eyes. The other one has more personality. Yep, I agree.
The other one's lonelier. Let's go with Maximum Lonely.
Maximum Lonely.
In the silence of this frozen love, now I find myself alone again. Try it alone again, Elsa.
Like a Randy vibe.
Naturally. In the silence of this frozen love, now I find myself alone again. Just the alone again, not the whole phrase.
You like that one better?
I don't know. You like
is it supposed to be da da da? It's not da da da. 2 different notes.
And what are the 2 options? I didn't hear a difference.
Da 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 or da da da.
Again.
Oh, 2 notes. Okay.
Da, da, da.
Okay.
Alone again.
Yeah, this one's definitely better, I think.
Well, I mean, I don't care about
dropping
a note. Again. I don't know.
That's the original one. Let's hear it again, yeah.
In the silence of this frozen love, now I find myself alone again. Is it a little pitchy? Is it a little flat? Is that what's going on?
Maybe, yeah. Let me see. It does have a real weariness to it that's nice.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm good to stick with it.
Let me see if there is a little something going on.
You know, I might even nudge the volume up a little bit. Maybe that's what it is. Now I find myself alone again. It's very sad.
It reminds me of Randy Newman.
Nice.
I can't think of what song, but there's some song where some song where he goes one of those like low growly notes.
Yeah, now I find myself alone again. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the alone actually looks dead on. So
spot on.
I think I thought you were doing a different note, so I think that's why.
All right. All right, let's go with that.
We got options if it bugs us later.
Sure. Now I find myself alone again. The air is clear, but for frozen tears falling from the distant stars. Yeah. Falling from the distant stars.
Yeah.
I'm good with all that.
Yeah, that's great.
Nice.
Look at you!
Come on. Yeah. Curl like fine cigars. fire is warm, the fire is warm, and the embers rise. They burn away my memory, how these frozen tears fill in my eyes. In this quiet hour, it is only it is only I who hears the wind. In the silence of this frozen love, now I find myself alone again. Well, the rhododendron leaves are curled, the leaves are curled like fine cigars. The air is clear, but for frozen tears falling from